781, and I'm coming at you with a firearm review slash philosophy video. It's actually more of a philosophy video than it is firearm review. I'm going to be honest with you right now, because let's face it, and I kind of want to put out this this public service announcement before I got into my videos before, but I'll just do it anyway now. Alright, when it comes to reviews, let's face it, you can get your weight, round counts, capacity, height, dimensions, and all that. You can get that online about any firearm. That's not hard to get. All you do is Google it, go to a gun website online, a gun store online. You can get that information. But if you're like me, I look at these reviews and I watch these philosophy videos on firearms because I want to know how other people actually feel about the use of their firearm. Because the other factual stuff you can always look up. And I'm gonna kind of demonstrate how I feel the firearm would be used for me personally, and how I use it, how I envision being used. It's all going to be my opinion, philosophy based. It's not going to be one of those reviews where they just rattle off a bunch of numbers. So alright, let's go ahead and get into it. The firearm we're going to talk about today is a Heritage Arms Rough Rider. It's chambered in 22 long rifle, 22 short, 22 shot shell, and you can also, and some of them do come with a 22 Magnum cylinder as well. I bought this gun for $149 plus tax, American. Just like the gun, it's made in the USA, so score one for the little guy, right? Given the fact of our economy and the amount of stuff that is made in our country, yes, score one for the little guy. Alright. The gun does come with some literature. We'll just briefly go over what the literature is. You get your manual with a part list, fired casing, a little advisory letter letting you don't return the gun to the manufacturer, actually call the company, a coupon for a 22 long rifle or 22 Magnum cylinder for $29.95. This coupon's pointless because that's the same price it is on their website. You also get a little catalog for different type of cowboy holsters if you're into cowboy action shooting, which is, I think this gun would serve its purpose fairly well since this is a single action only revolver. Alright, the actual items you get in the box are a lock, which is actually a metal lock. It's not one of those hokey, really cheap plastic ones. It's actually a lock that I'd probably pay about $5 to $8 for because I think it's a really good lock. If your gun did come with a Magnum cylinder, it'd be right here, but since mine didn't come with one, it's not here. So there's just a little cutout where it should be, or it could have been. And you get the firearm itself in this cardboard case with this foam with this nice little blue velvety stuff on top. Makes it look more impressive than it really is. Alrighty, so let's get into the firearm itself. Firearm safety checks. I'm not sure if you guys can see this, but there's nothing in there. And we have the safety on. Yes, this revolver does come with a safety, which is actually unique in the world of revolvers, period, but also the single action revolvers. It actually has a little flip up safety. You flip it down, you can see that red there. Red is dead, as it is in most firearms, and when you don't see anything, it's safe. So there you go. Being it single action, for those of you that don't know what single action is, that actually means that you just can't grab it and pull the trigger and it'll fire. You'd actually have to pull the hammer back, I like that sound, and actually pull the trigger to release the hammer forward, firing the rounds. Alright, so let's get into why I purchased this gun. You ever had one of those moments where you actually just go into the store and you see something you like, you want to buy it, but you have trouble justifying it. So you have that conversation with yourself inside your head. Well, you know, I'll buy it because it's practical, it's cheap to shoot. Oh, you know, I'll buy it because, you know, I don't have one of those yet, honey. You know, stuff like that. And my conversation kind of went in my head like this. Well, I don't have a 22 revolver to teach people on, so this would be good. A single action, so the trigger pull will be easier for newer shooters. They'll get the ergonomic sound of shooting a revolver. I need it because it's cheap to shoot for myself. I need it because I can put a 22 Magnum cylinder, so really I can shoot like a bunch of different calibers. I can shoot 22 short, 22 long rifle, 22 Magnum. These are all the thoughts that were going through my head. This is me convincing myself that it was okay for me to pay $150 for this gun. And I think we all have those conversations inside our head. Especially if you're married, because you actually have to get your story straight when you bring the firearm home and show it, and your wife's like, "What's in the bag?" And you're like, "It's just a gun." And she's like, "What?" And you have to have your story straight as to why you're purchasing. You have to justify it not only with yourself but with your spouse. So that kind of lets you know what happened recently. But with that being said, so that's the kind of conversation I had in my head. And the last part of that conversation kind of went something like this. Well, you know what? See, we had that video about 22 long rifle survival, and you know, I like that concept myself, which is why I put out the video. But I really I'm not sure I trust a semi-automatic 22 in a survival situation long term. It'd be hard to clean. Like my Ruger Mark II, it's a pain in the butt to clean. Ask anybody who knows a Ruger Mark series. It's not easy to clean. I wouldn't trust the Walther P22 for long-term survival. I wouldn't trust it as really as a backpacking gun either. I prefer a revolver like most people would. So it kind of went like that. That's how I convinced myself to buy it. So I bought the gun. I took it home. I shot some 22 shorts out of it because I wanted to be quiet and discreet. It was actually very accurate. Well, I'll put it like this. The front sight is a little off, but I'm not going to bend the front sight because they're not adjustable. I just compensated for it. I actually have several different firearms and enough experience at this point where I'm just to the point where I'll just compensate. If it's a gun where I can't adjust the sights, I'll just compensate, and that's fine with me. Someone said on one of the videos or on a blog I read or something that what you do is actually place the gun in a vise and you bend the front blade with pliers, and I'm not going to do that. If I do something like that, I'm going to have another double 9 incident on my hand, and I'll explain what a double 9 incident is in a second. So it was very accurate, and I was so pleased with the gun that the night, which is actually, I bought this gun yesterday, Saturday. I bought another gun on Sunday. Well, I bought this gun on Saturday night, Saturday evening, and after I shot it, I was so pleased. I was like, you know what? I think I want to buy the 22 Magnum cylinder. So I paid $29.95, bought the Magnum cylinder. That should be here probably within the next couple of days because it's actually not coming from too far away. And that's coming. I figured, the reason I wanted to have that Magnum cylinder was because, well, what if this is the only gun I can get to? And I had to defend myself. I prefer 22 Magnum over 22 long rifle. So I'll keep the 22 Magnum cylinder in it. And I'll actually maybe even keep it loaded in a case. Not in a nightstand, but just, one of those guns that will probably be in one of my little special bags. Or get home bag, bug out bag, whatever you like to call them. I actually have a few different varieties right now going on. I have one for vehicle, one for home. One that just goes on your person. I'm all over the place with this stuff, so we'll get into that later, but that's the whole philosophy behind it. And now I was a bit concerned when I did buy the gun. My concern was the finish, which the finish isn't great. I stuck this gun in my pants one time. It didn't have a holster, and just to see if my belt could hold it. I'm one of those people. I question a lot of things, and I like to try them out. And I did that, and the finish is actually already starting to come off a little bit. I'm a little discouraged about that, but at the same time, it's a $149 gun, and the finish being taken off isn't going to affect the shootability, the accuracy, etc. I mean, you can't really expect the world from a gun that costs $149. Another thing that concerned me, I didn't want another double 9 incident, and I said I'd explain what a double 9 incident was. I purchased this high standard double 9, and about, I'd say 3 to 4 months later of like shooting, I didn't really shoot this guy that consecutively, but that's what happened. Yeah, take a nice look at that. I was shooting it one day and I noticed, hey, there's a crack right there. That's not normal. So I stopped shooting it, and I was like, I put it in my range bag, brought it home. I was like, I'm just going to take it to the gunsmith, see what he can do to fix it, get this working right, because that's completely uncool. So I picked it up one day. I picked it up, and it was intact. It had the grips on it. The grips have fallen off. That's sad when the grips just fall off over time. And I picked it up, and literally, it just went, and I was like, WTF. So that was a very sad moment in history when this gun broke, because I was super accurate with it. And I did want another 22 revolver, and the Heritage fit the bill for the price. To be honest, I originally wanted a Taurus model 941. I think it's like a 4-inch 9-shot 22 single action and double action. I'm like, you know what? This will fill that build just fine. It'll force me to slow down my shooting. I won't run through so much ammo with it. And I think for that, fits the build just fine. I honestly wouldn't recommend buying this for defense if you're thinking that's what you should buy it for. I personally think you should buy this for either strict fun and possibly for survival, maybe against, you know, if you want to take out some small game, you got some vermin on your property that you want to get rid of, 2-legged or 4-legged. Like I said, I wouldn't recommend it for defense, but if you load it with a 22 Magnum cylinder, this is all you had, that's all you got, so you better use it. But that's my justification for purchasing this, and how I envision it, how I'd use it. I'd use it for backpacking, hiking, long-term survival maybe, just because of the caliber it comes in. So there's my justification as to the Heritage Arms. My overall opinion, do I like the gun? Yes. Would I buy it over again? Yes. Would I recommend it to others? Yes. I probably wouldn't recommend it as a first gun though. I'd recommend it to someone who has, you know, they already got their carry gun, their defensive gun for home. They already got their long gun, and they, you know, just want something to plink with or something like that. I'd recommend something like this because it's cheap, accurate. You don't have to buy extra magazines. There's just a lot of pluses with the Revolver. Probably kind of being redundant at this point, but you get where I'm going with it. So that guy 781 recommends. Just be aware, it's a $149 gun, so the finish is not going to last. And that's really my only gripe with it so far is the finish. But for $149, I really don't care. I like the fact that it has a safety, I like the grips, I like the trigger pull, and I like the accuracy. And I like the fact that you have the option to switch out to that 22 Magnum cylinder. So there you go. I recommend it. This is that guy 781 signing out, and thank you for watching.